Have you ever walked into a room and felt instantly overwhelmed, like everyone else is totally fine, chatting away, but you can feel the energy of every single person and suddenly you just need to escape? If any of this sounds familiar, you might be one of the 20% of people who are considered highly sensitive. Being highly sensitive isn't a weakness, it just means you experience the world a little more deeply than others. It's like having your senses turned up to 11 all the time. And while that can be amazing, it also comes with its own set of challenges. Okay, first up, let's talk about feeling misunderstood. As a highly sensitive person, you see the world in vivid detail. You pick up on nuances that others miss, and you feel emotions with an intensity that can be breathtaking, and also a little overwhelming. But here's the thing. Trying to explain that to someone who doesn't experience the world the same way, it's like trying to explain the color purple to someone who's only ever seen black and white. You can describe it all you want, but they're never going to truly it. And that, my friends, can be incredibly isolating. You might find yourself holding back, not sharing your true thoughts and feelings, because you're tired of the blank stares or the well-meaning but oh so frustrating, don't worry so much. Embrace your sensitivity and find your people. The ones who get you, quirks and all. Your sensitivity is a gift that allows you to connect with the world on a deeper level. Remember that time you cried at a coffee commercial? Yeah, that. Being highly sensitive often means experiencing emotions, both your own and those of others, with, shall we say, a certain dramatic flair. It's like someone cranked up the volume on your emotions and suddenly, everything is brighter, louder, and a whole lot more intense. This can be amazing when you're watching a heartwarming movie. You're right there with the characters, laughing and crying along with every plot twist. But when it comes to everyday life, well, let's just say it can be a bit of a wild ride. You feel other people's emotions as if they were your own, which can be both a blessing and a curse. You might find yourself tearing up at the drop of a hat, happy tears, sad tears, frustrated tears, you name it, you've cried it. Let's be real, nobody really enjoys criticism, right? But for highly sensitive people, it can feel like a punch to the gut, even if it's meant to be constructive. It's like those words, even if they're said gently, have this way of sticking with you, burrowing under your skin and setting up camp in your brain. You might find yourself replaying that conversation over and over in your head, dissecting every word, every inflection, searching for hidden meanings. Was it something you said, something you did? And even if you know logically that the criticism wasn't personal, it can still sting a lot. You're not being overly dramatic, you're just wired differently. Your brain is literally more sensitive to feedback, both positive and negative. So, the next time someone offers up some constructive criticism, try to remember, it's not the end of the world. Take a deep breath, remind yourself that you are awesome, and try to focus on the valuable feedback that you use to grow. Chapter 4. To be or not to be, a decision that is. Decisions. For some people, choosing between a latte and a cappuccino is a no-brainer. But for highly sensitive souls, it can feel like a life-altering decision. Okay, maybe not dramatic, but it can definitely be a struggle. Why? Because you see all the possibilities, all the potential outcomes. And while that can be amazing when you're brainstorming creative ideas, it can be totally paralyzing when you're just trying to pick a restaurant for dinner. You overthink, you analyze, you weigh the pros and cons until your brain feels like it's about to explode. Chapter 5. Introvert Retreat, Population Me. Raise your hand if you've ever felt completely drained after a social event, even if you enjoyed yourself. Yep, that's a classic sign of being highly sensitive. It's not that you don't love people, you do, it's just that all that social interaction can be a bit overwhelming. Think of it like this. Your social battery just drains faster than other people's. So what's the solution? Embrace the glorious power of alone time. Chapter 6. Sensory overload, please dim the lights. Remember that feeling of walking into a crowded room with its fluorescent lights buzzing overhead, the cacophony of conversations washing over you, and 100 different smells assaulting your nostrils? Yeah, that's sensory overload. But for highly sensitive people, it can be downright unbearable. It's like your senses are turned up to 11 all the time. Loud noises, excruciating. Bright lights, blinding, strong smells assault on the senses, and don't even get me started on scratchy fabrics. It's like wearing a sweater made of fiberglass. You walk into a room and you can just feel it. The tension, the sadness, the joy, it's like you can absorb other people's emotions just by being near them. That, my friends, is the power of empathy, and it's a hallmark of being highly sensitive. On the one hand, it's an incredible gift. You can connect with people on a deep, meaningful level. You understand their pain, their joy, their fears, but empathy can also be a double-edged sword, because when you feel everything so deeply, it can be exhausting. Change is a part of life, right? We've all heard that one. But let's be honest, for highly sensitive people, change can feel like a visit from your least favorite in-law. It's awkward, uncomfortable, and you'd really rather just avoid it altogether. Whether it's a new job, a move, or even just a change in your daily routine, it can throw you off your game. Suddenly your carefully constructed world feels a little shaky, and that can be pretty unsettling. Having a predictable schedule helps you feel safe and grounded, and when that routine is disrupted, it can feel like the rug has been pulled out from under you. Have you ever spent hours, days, or even weeks analyzing a single conversation? Replaying every word, every inflection, every raised eyebrow, searching for hidden meanings? Welcome to the wonderful world of overthinking. Overthinking is practically a sport for highly sensitive people. It's like your brain is a high-powered computer, constantly processing information, analyzing data, and searching for patterns. Ah, crowds. The pulsating heart of humanity, a swirling vortex of energy, a symphony of sights and sounds, and my personal definition of hell on earth. Okay, maybe that's a bit dramatic, but for highly sensitive people, crowds can be seriously overwhelming. It's not just the sheer number of people. Although that's definitely a factor, it's the noise, the lights, the smells, the constant jostling and bumping. It's like your senses are being attacked from all sides. Ever listened to a song or watched a movie that made you feel so deeply, so profoundly, that you thought your heart might actually burst? No, just me? Oh, right. Highly sensitive people. We experience art and beauty on a whole other level. It's not just something we observe, it's something we feel in our bones. Music washes over us, painting emotions across our souls. Art speaks to us, whispering secrets and stories that words can't express. And nature? Well, nature is our church, our sanctuary, our happy place. Yes, we've already talked about how much highly sensitive people love their alone time, but that doesn't mean we're hermits who live in caves and shun all human contact. We enjoy socializing. Really, we do. It's just that it takes a lot out of us. Think of it like this: your social battery just drains faster than other people's. Okay, let's be real for a minute. Being highly sensitive can be amazing. You experience the world with a depth and richness that many people can only dream of, but it can also be really, really stressful. All those things we've talked about, the intense emotions, the sensory overload, the overthinking, the empathy, it takes a toll. So there you have it, 13 struggles that only highly sensitive people will truly understand. It's not always easy being wired this way, but it's also what makes you, well. Remember, being highly sensitive isn't a weakness. It's a superpower. It allows you to experience the world with a depth and richness that most people can only dream of. So embrace your sensitivity, celebrate your unique perspective, and never be afraid to let your true colors shine. Now, I want to hear from you. What are some of the challenges you face as a highly sensitive person? Share your experiences in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going.